All right, Christian Diaz, thank you so much for taking the time to chat and for being one of our new Minor Nation contributors. So good to have you as part of the program. For those who haven't met me yet, my name is Ryan Catherwood. I'm a senior advisor for the UTEP Office of Institutional Advancement and working with the team at UTEP to develop the new contributors program. Christian, you ended up selecting UTEP for your MBA program. Just sort of digging into that experience a little bit. What was your favorite class and how did you end up picking the finance concentration?
Yeah, so I mean, I had always wanted to be a miner since I was young. I grew up going to football, basketball games, so I always knew that I wanted to get my degree from UTEP at some point. It was really hard for me initially to leave El Paso to go for my undergraduate. I always my heart was always here in El Paso and at UTEP, so I always knew when I finished my undergrad that I was going to come back and do my MBA. That was always my plan since high school. And everything kind of happened the way that it should. So UTEP was something I was always drawn to. The MBA program there. When I initially was looking at different MBA programs, UTEP was obviously first on the list. And initially, the reason was because they had a full-time MBA program. So I was part of the last cohort for the full-time MBA. So originally it was, I think, 42 credit hours to graduate, which is a little bit more than most MBA programs that I was looking at. And now I think they dropped it down to 36. So it's a lot more. It's a more condensed program now. So, and now they have the online MBA. But I wanted to do an in-person one. And I had always been drawn to finance as well. And it was something that I didn't really take a lot of classes in undergraduate. So I knew that was one of our 3 or 4 concentrations that we could select. So I knew finance was the route I wanted to go. And I use it today in my current job in some capacity when we're looking at incentives and we're looking at incentives and on the capital expenditures for the projects that we work. So
Yeah.
overall, it was a really great experience. I wish it would have been a little bit longer because so I started my MBA program in August of 2019. I graduated from my undergrad from Texas A&M in May of 2019, and I started the full-time MBA a few months later. And so it was great. The reason why I did it in person was to build those relationships with my cohort and to build those relationships with my professors that I wanted a face-to-face interaction. And so March of 2020, everything kind of changed, and we had to go to online for the last 2 semesters of my program. But it was still a really positive experience. I just wish it would have been a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. You enjoyed it so much you wanted it to have been more extended. Well,
Yes.
congrats on finishing your degree, and you're now Vice President of Economic Development at the Borderplex Alliance. Can you share a little bit more about what your organization's all about?
Yeah, so the Borderplex Alliance, we are a regional economic development organization. So we focus on business recruitment and attraction to the Borderplex region. And the Borderplex is El Paso County, Southern New Mexico, Doña Ana County, and Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua. So our 5 target industries are manufacturing, business services, logistics, aerospace and defense, and life sciences. So really our job is to create higher paying jobs and bring big companies here to the region. And so for me, it's the perfect job because since I was little, I've loved El Paso. I've been so passionate and proud of being from El Paso, and to get to actually, play a role in helping the city and the region grow. And it's more than a job to me. It just feels like it was the perfect fit, and it's why I've been there it's going to be 3 years in a couple weeks. So I'm very proud of my time there, and I work with an incredible team. The leadership there is your first class, and I can't say enough about my boss. And Marcos Delgado, he's the best boss that I could ever have asked for, and a great mentor and a great leader to our organization. And the region and El Paso is very lucky to have someone like him out in the front lines representing us to not only the companies around the United States but in the world as well. We travel all over the world, sometimes on trade missions to try to recruit companies to the region. So it's a really, really fun job.
It does sound like a great job. And you're obviously doing a lot of work to benefit the local community there in El Paso. As you said, you had some experience working at UTEP while you were doing your MBA degree. You worked as a development assistant with the minor athletic club. What do you remember about that experience of being a student worker, essentially, right, while you were doing your MBA?
So actually, it was actually unique. It was before my MBA that I.
Okay.
So my last semester of my undergraduate at Texas A&M, we had to do a full-time internship. So it was a 40-hour-a-week, 13-week internship that counted towards our last 12 credit hours before we graduated. And so I was looking at different places. I had gotten opportunities with Circuit of the Americas in Austin, with a company out of Dallas, with some different professional sports teams around Texas. But my heart, like I said, has always been in El Paso, and so I reached out to one of the, I think the associate director of development over with UTEP Athletics, and just asking, hey, I'm Christian Diaz, last semester at Texas A&M. I have experience doing this. Are you all open to bringing me in for a full-time internship that'll count towards my last 12 credit hours and has to meet this criteria? And they talked about it internally, and they brought me in December of 2018. And so for the next 5 months, I was there with the minor athletic club, UTEP Athletics. And again, like I said, I grew up being probably one of the biggest UTEP fans you'll ever meet, my age range. And so to get to actually be inside of the athletic department and to work to actually see how things run was really an incredible experience for me. Some of my favorite, obviously the fun parts of it are getting to work the games. At the time it was basketball season, so getting to see all the background that goes into the different events and everything that goes into just sort of production. People don't realize that there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes to actually make a game day run. The biggest, I think, project that we worked during my time there was Orange Fever Fiesta. It's the minor athletic club's biggest fundraising event of the year. And so I got to, play an integral role with, I was the right-hand man for the person who ran that event. And so that was really fun to get to, interact with all the different donors and them to bring the student athletes in as well, and to have them interact and make that event a first-class experience for all the attendees. That was probably my favorite moment there. And it really, I think, built my fandom even more and made me even a bigger fan, and made me, want to obviously go into the workforce so that I could begin to contribute to the minor athletic club as well. And so I've done that ever since I graduated.
I love that. Such a great story. And obviously you bleed school colors, which is fantastic. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the MBA program, circling back to that, as that was the degree you had there. You said you went to Texas A&M for your undergraduate. If you had to convince a friend or a colleague to get their MBA at UTEP, what might you tell them?
Well, I think the first thing is that the program is now geared more towards the students. Now they've shortened the program. They're shortened the program, and so now I think it's 36 or less credit hours, so you can finish in a more accelerated pace. And they combined the accelerated and the full-time program because of that. And so with that, it's you get a more condensed, but still you get all of the essential experience that you would have gotten if you did the full-time program. Also, the courses, if you want to do the in-person classes, they're downtown El Paso, so it's a really cool venue to get to go to school and to get to do your MBA and your master's. And you get to, I think for me, it was the relationships that you built there with your fellow classmates. The faculty and the staff are top notch with the MBA program. I think more so than maybe my experience was nothing but great experience with the staff there. I still keep in touch with some of the people that were there during the MBA program. They've moved on to different departments within the College of Business, but they made my experience really just a memorable one. And because of that, that's why I'm a big advocate for the UTEP MBA program. And anybody from El Paso that's looking to take that next step in their educational experience, I think they don't need to look very far to find a first-class program.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you about this particular program, the Minor Nation Contributors Program, which we've just started, of which you're a part. How do you hope this experience of working as a Minor Nation contributor might help make an impact on the greater UTEP community?
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's a special opportunity because it allows me to continue to stay involved and integrated with the university and with the school that I hold so near and dear to my heart. I think it's going to give us the opportunity to tell the stories of different alumni and their experiences at UTEP and what makes UTEP special, and to capture really the spirit and the essence of what it means to be a UTEP miner, because it is a special place. It is a place that provides access to education to, at times to a community that maybe, is underserved that is underserved. And so I think it's a special place. And for me to be able to to share that story with my, with just in my experience with my, the diverse network that I have, whether it be on LinkedIn or any other platforms that we choose to use. And then also with the two other collaborators that we have, I know that we've got a good team. I think that's going to be able to get this program off and running, and hopefully it continues to grow from there. And I'm very proud and very privileged to be a part of kicking this off.
Yeah, well, we're incredibly fortunate and excited to have you as part of the program. Christian, Diaz, thank you so much for all you've done already and helping us get the program off the ground, and sharing your insights and reflections, advice that you may have for other miners looking to follow in your footsteps, and keep us apprised, of course, on how your work is impacting the greater El Paso community. We really appreciate it. And thanks again for taking the time to introduce yourself. Not that you probably know lots of people, of course, across the UTEP community, but here we're introducing you sort of for the first time as part of our contributors program. So thank you for taking the time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Ryan. Go Miners.